Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Luba and I live and work here in tech in San Francisco, and in this video today I will tell you about the top tech careers that do not require any coding at all. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button below so that I know whether you're enjoying this content. And then besides that, if you're new to Life of Luba channel and if you're interested in tech and life in Silicon Valley, make sure to subscribe. Let's get started. Stay tuned. If you watch this video until the end, you will find out about 5 top careers in tech that do not require any coding at all, are in high demand, and an average salary for them is more than $80,000 a year. This video is also sponsored by ClassPort. ClassPort is a search engine for online courses. You guys know I'm super passionate about online learning, so definitely check out ClassPort in the link down below, and I will talk a little more about them later in the video. Number one is product manager. Product manager is an awesome role for someone with a big picture vision. You're ultimately responsible for the product strategy. You're the owner of product roadmap, of your team's goals, objective key results, the metrics that your team and the business is driving, and you're essentially responsible for coming up with the product ideas and then working with the cross-functional stakeholders, engineering, design, data science, content strategists to actually implement the product. I am currently in a product manager role at Airbnb myself, so I'm very intimately familiar with this role, and it's a great opportunity to be, as they say, the mini CEO, because you're responsible for products end to end. Coding is definitely a plus if you do have a technical background, but it's not required at all. There's plenty of brilliant product managers that do not have a technical background, but if you do want to take coding class or two, it's definitely helpful to speak the coding language because you will be interacting a lot with the engineers. Product managers are pretty well paid. Product manager in Silicon Valley in the Bay Area is making on average $132,000, and in the US, the product manager is making $100,000 a year. Number 2 is content strategist. If you're passionate about storytelling, being concise and effective with the language that you use, and you generally just love English and writing, content strategist might be a role for you. Content strategists usually sit on product teams and work closely with design, with engineering, with product managers, and a lot of the times with marketing as well. If you guys look at a page of any online product, so let's say Facebook or Airbnb or Google, any text that you're seeing on the platform was probably the job of a content strategist. They're ensuring the consistency across the product in the usage of the language, of the words. They're ensuring that the user can clearly understand the premise of the text that they're reading, and they're also ensuring that the language that is being used transfers the values and mission of the company that this language is written for. Content strategists a lot of the times have an English and literature degree, or they came from journalism, but a lot of the times I myself work at Airbnb and I see people with super versatile backgrounds. They have political science degrees, math degrees, it doesn't really matter. As long as you are passionate about writing and you have those chops and you do want to create a compelling story, content strategist is a great role. And on average, content strategists make $116,000 in the Bay Area, so in Silicon Valley, or $72,000 in the US. On average. Next up, we have technical program managers, or TPM in short. TPMs are definitely more of a bigger company role, but it's becoming more and more popular. If you are a process improvement junkie and you want to be an enabler for teams to deliver high quality products, and you will be working closely with engineering, design, data science managers in those roles, technical program management might be a role for you. So you will be working with cross-functional partners. You are responsible for identifying high impact problems, providing visibility and transparency across the org, across the teams for what exactly is going on, and is everyone working on highest impact, highest leverage problems. So that is essentially what a technical program manager does. So it's a lot of coordinating, tracking, analysis, a lot of strategy as well too. Sometimes TPMs do a fairly similar role to PMs depending on the team. So I'll give you an example. At Airbnb, we started hiring TPMs, and there was a huge cross-company effort to move to service-oriented architecture, so microservices. So one of our TPMs, he was responsible for cross-functional tracking that SOA, service-oriented architecture, was actually happening. And he was responsible for making sure that everyone is on track with their goals. He was tracking the metrics. He was making sure that the teams don't fall behind. So he ultimately was an enabler and kind of like a policeman of that effort across company. And of course, if we didn't have him, that visibility would just not be there, and we might not have hit our goal. Technical program managers are on average paid $46,000 in the Bay Area, in Silicon Valley, and on average $130,000 a year in the US. Number 4 is UX designer. UX design, considering how digital our world is becoming right now and is only going to become more and more digital, is super in demand. As a UX designer, you're obviously designing digital products. You're thinking of all the user personas and nuances and use cases to actually create a holistic design that will work in any situation. You're working very closely with engineering, with data science, and with product managers to ensure that your designs can actually be technically implemented. You conduct user research a lot of the times. You conduct usability testing. So generally, it's a super interesting learn if you guys have an eye for design, if you love designing, and also if you're interested in user behavioral psychology. UX designers are obviously a big part of any tech company here in Silicon Valley. Again, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Airbnb, etc., etc., etc. And it's a super emergent role. UX designers on average make $116,000 in Silicon Valley and $80,000 on average a year in the US. I also want to talk a little more about our today's sponsor, ClassPort, a search engine for online courses. You guys know how passionate I am about online learning. In fact, the other day I was rebranding my channel and I learned Figma and a little bit of Photoshop by just taking courses online. So ClassPort essentially can provide you search capabilities to find a course that will enable you to enter in one of these new super high in demand professions. There is more than 160,000 courses on ClassPort, and both free and paid. They're partnered up with more than 26 providers across the web. So Khan Academy, Coursera, Skillshare, and you have a super easy way to filter for the courses. So price, language, free or paid. Definitely check out ClassPort. I'm gonna leave the link down below in the description. I love online learning, so you should check it out. And last, but definitely not least, is Chief of Staff. Chief of Staff is getting more and more popular nowadays, and Chief of Staff is pretty much an extension of the leader that you're working for. So a lot of the times we're seeing now startups hiring Chief of Staff. So that means that as a Chief of Staff working at a startup, you're most likely going to be working directly with the CEO. Bigger companies have more people in a Chief of Staff role. So you might be working with a director level person or VP, so not just the CEO. Chief of Staff is a super versatile role because it's highly dependent on the field you're working in and the person you're working with. But ultimately, you are the right hand of the leader. You're a strategic advisor, partner, depending on the person you're working with. You might be running independently with the projects that they assign to you that they might not necessarily have the bandwidth for. They might also completely give you the trust and the responsibility to replace them in the critical meetings and decisions. You're probably attending board meetings, preparing presentations, taking notes there. You're also responding to critical emails. If you're working for a bigger org, you might be responsible for optimizing the org structure or making the team more operationally effective. So I think the role is super, super cool. I actually myself was in a role like that for about 5 months last year, and then a product opportunity came up, so I moved into that. But I think the role is great for someone who wants to experience different projects, gain a variety of different skill sets, really see how the business is run and how the decisions are being made. So I would highly recommend it for someone with the business acumen, someone who's a self-starter, someone who has an analytical mindset, great communication skills. Chief of staffs actually make a very decent amount of money. In the US, on average, a chief of staff role makes $125,000 a year, and in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley, it's $140,000 in a year. So if you guys are interested in this role and have specific skills, definitely check it out. It's a super cool position. That is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you were inspired. Being in tech does not necessarily mean being an engineer. It does not necessarily mean writing code. There is plenty of other opportunities, and I hope this inspired you to take a closer look at other alternatives and careers that are, again, in high demand and are highly paid. Thanks for watching this video until the end. If you forgot to do this, please give the video a like and subscribe to this channel if you are interested in more content like this. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye for now.